Hey, happy holidays! It's Thanksgiving weekend, long weekend. Hope everybody had a great Turkey Day. I'm Money Mike back here with Marco Nunez from uh, former head athletic trainer for Los Angeles Lakers and owner of Evolve Athletic. Marco, how was your Thanksgiving this weekend?
It was great. Couldn't get enough turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and you name it.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, and there was some great football going on too on Thursday, so it makes it even better, huh?
True, no, 100%. And I think I was reading an article that the Cowboys game this past weekend on Thursday night during Thanksgiving was one of the highest, most viewed or ratings, and I think, and I don't know if it was NFL history, but in a while. So
Yeah,
everybody got
yeah.
to watch a good game.
Yeah, I think it had like a 42 million listeners. So yeah, that's top notch right there. And,
Yep.
Cowboy fans, man. I don't know about you, man, but they're the most annoying fans out there to me.
I'm not a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, nor am I a huge Dallas Cowboys fan.
Right?
So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yes. Fat Pat, welcome, man. You coming in to
there
the
he
waiver
is.
wire,
Yeah, what's up, man? How y'all doing today?
man.
Doing
We
well,
all
doing
right, man.
well.
Yeah, yeah. We over here, man. Talking about Thanksgiving and how all the games were and everything. How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was good, man. It was, I had the family. I cooked. I don't know if they liked it. They could be lying to me, but at least I did it. So, but it
Yeah,
was
oh
good.
yeah.
Everything was good.
Cool, cool. Well, and let's go ahead and get into these injuries, man, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm in four leagues, and I only have one league that I'm actually able to be going to be in the playoffs. All my other leagues, I'm giving up on. So I don't know about you guys, but man, we'll get into that, man. Marco, let's talk about Darnell Mooney. He had injured his foot.
Yeah, so Darnell Mooney, wide receiver with the Chicago Bears, injured his foot this today during this past weekend's game. Now, the bad news is that they're going to go ahead and do an MRI to confirm the injury, but they suspect that he has a torn ligament in his foot and is going to require surgery. And if that's the case, he's out for the rest of the year, and he's one of the top receivers they're going to miss out on. So if you have Darnell Mooney, you got to start making plans for to pick up another receiver if you're in the playoff hunt or you're trying to battle to try to get in that last spot for your playoffs.
Yeah, see that's a really hard one right there. Man, like nobody can get hurt right now. It's hit or miss, man, in these things. What about Travis Etienne over there in
Yeah, so
Jacksonville?
Yeah, so Travis Etienne, running back with the Jacksonville Jaguars, also injured his foot. They're going to go and do an MRI to try to see what's going on with him. Now, one of the issues with him is that, remember, he missed all of last year with the foot injury as well. So there's reports out there that Jacksonville Jaguars might be a little conservative, and he is their future running back, so they want to try to protect him. And as far as them trying to make the playoffs or playoff hunts, and they may still be in there, may not be out of there. So if you do have ATN and he's been doing great, the downside to it is that they may protect their running back and treat him conservatively and may sit him out on purpose just to make sure he gets healthy. So, but that may hurt or will hurt a lot of fantasy owners if you have ATN.
Hey, so Pat, let me just check with you, man. You ain't got nothing to spare yet on your team, right? And you got
Um,
to worry about.
well, man, the ETN, I do have him on my team, so I have to worry about that. I know we're going to talk about it later, but there's a guy looking really really good right now, and I don't like it because they're not going to rush him back. If he's looking the way he's looking right now, they're going to rush ETN back. So
Yeah,
it like Marco said, he has history all the way up from some college. So
correct.
they know he's injury prone. He'd
Mm-hmm.
already missed a season.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, they already traded James Robinson away. So
Mm-hmm.
it's basically they're gonna have to really treat him with kid gloves right now. Make sure that he's not gonna re-injure anything or hurt himself long term.
Correct,
Uh,
correct. And that's the thing about it right now with the regular football season. If you have players that are on squads that have been doing great, but their teams are pretty much out of the playoffs or don't seem to be going to be in the playoff hunt, they'll start being a little conservative and they'll start kind of treating them like you said, with some gloves on the type of thing to make sure they don't get hurt for the next season. But as fantasy owners, you need them for the playoffs, and that's where it hurts you. So you can maybe be doing great in the beginning, but now and that's part of the game of fantasy football is that you can start like 5-0, 6-0, and you can quickly go 6-6. That's the crazy thing about it. which is interesting.
Yeah, but see,
Exactly.
no, that's the thing about fantasy football. See, we care about them; they don't care about us, right?
Correct.
You know what I
Now,
mean? We want them to play.
yeah.
Everything. If you feel all right, go out there and play. But they're like, nah, we're gonna hold you back for a week.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm not going to say
We go.
all of them. Remember, there was that incident a couple years ago. What was that running back? Little stocky guy out of UCLA. God, what was his name? Uh, he ran for a touchdown. He stopped at the 1 yard line, and then he went on Twitter, Instagram the next day, and he apologized to all his fantasy football holders because they missed out on those extra 6 points. Um, I forgot the little stocky running back at UCLA. He played for a while. I forgot who he played with.
Oh,
Jackson.
you talking about Maurice Jones-Drew?
Maurice Jones-Drew. That's right. Remember, he
Yeah.
ran all the way down, stopped at the 1 yard line, took a knee because the game was over. They didn't want, they win it, and he went online and apologized to all his, whoever had him at fantasy football for missing out on those 6 points. So not all of them. Some do.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's cool. Hey,
but
so
it's funny.
hey,
I was just sorry, real quick. You did say that that us fans care about them. I mean, honestly, I don't know if you've been online, man. It's like they're disposable, man. They don't supposed to have any feelings, and they need to just go out there and get points for us. And it's like, man, they got families too, man. It's like,
Mhm.
they get hate mail because they didn't get 100 yards in rushing. You know how hard it is to get 100 yards in rushing. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's a job, but sometimes I just want us to as us fans, like kind of have a little, perspective on what's really is real and what's fantasy. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
but that's the thing though. For us, fantasy is real because
Yeah, exactly.
I only want the quarterback to throw to that receiver. You know what I'm saying? If you throw to the other receiver, then that hurts us. Because we're going against them. That this is the life of a fantasy football player. Anyway, let's
Man,
move on. Let's talk about the Rams and how they not going to make the playoffs and Allen Robinson.
Yeah, so Allen Robinson, wide receiver with the Los Angeles Rams, kind of same situation as Travis Etienne. So apparently he's been dealing with a little bit of foot injury. They've been treating it. The reports mentioned that they did a CT scan this past Friday, Saturday, and they found that he had a little bit of a stress fracture in his foot. They haven't really identified where it was, what it is exactly, but bottom line is that he's going to need surgery. Again, same situation. The LA Rams are pretty much out of the playoffs. There's no need to keep him, keep trying to push him to play. So at this point, they're like, hey, you know what? Let's just get the surgery. Let's get you ready for next year type of thing. So you have Allen Robinson. He's out, for the remainder of the year. Cooper Kupp's already out there. They have Van Jefferson, and after that, not sure really who they have. So, I mean, they're struggling. And then we're going to talk about the quarterback as well.
Yeah. Let's get into Michael Carter. He got an ankle too. And all these
Correct.
lower extremities, man. Like it's tough out there.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, when it comes to receivers and running backs, I've always talked about your foot and your ankle are one of the key components, and then kind of you work what's called the kinetic change. You start working up the kinetic change. Your foot is the one that touches the ground the most, and the one that excels you, propels you, jumps, lands, anything of that sort. You have to have issues with it. So Michael Carter, running back with the New York Jets, he just kind of took over. I know there was a little bit of a committee with James Robinson. They sat James Robinson. He was a healthy scratch this weekend, so it was between Michael Carter and Ty Johnson. Michael Carter went off, and he was doing well. He ended up with he sprained his ankle, and then he was out for the rest of the game type of thing. So it's just a matter of waiting and seeing what are the issues. Does he play this upcoming weekend? Does he practice it all throughout the week and then kind of go from there?
Yeah. Well, do we know how he left the stadium? Did he have a boot at all? Do we know?
That they have not mentioned anything. I mean, luckily they haven't reported anything that he left with crutches or a boot or anything like that. But the fact that he did not return is not always a positive sign. Oftentimes, if it's tweaked, they'll tape it up and hey, let's go out there and play type of thing. But the fact that he left the game, never returned, is a little concerning.
All right, let's go into Elijah Mitchell with the 49ers.
Yeah, so this was interesting. Elijah Mitchell, running back with the San Francisco 49ers, he just came back like 2 weeks ago. Remember, he was supposed to be the workhorse for the San Francisco 49ers this year. He got hurt the very, very first game. I think the very first quarter of this year, he ended up with what's called an MCL sprain on his knee. The MCL ligament is the one on the inside, not the ACL, like deep inside, but like on the medial aspect of his knee. He was out for almost 8 weeks. He just came back, and he re-aggravated that MCL sprain. Now, they suspect that it's not as worse as it was before, but the fact that he has it, two, the fact that he's a backup to McCaffrey, he has been getting some touches. and the Niners are trying to make a playoff hunt. So at the same time, are they going to save him, hold him off until they get to the playoffs type of thing? So we'll just matter of waiting and seeing.
Yeah, McCaffrey can handle the load. I hate that guy from the time he was at Stanford, killing USC, man. But that's a whole other story.
Yeah, well, no, you're right. I mean, if it's funny that you say this. If you're a McCaffrey holder, I guess you want to say, or he's on your squad. When Elijah Mitchell came back and he took some reps from McCaffrey type of thing. So I mean, not to say it's a good thing that he got hurt, but if you're McCaffrey, you're kind of a little happy because now McCaffrey is going to become the workhorse from that end, so he's going to get more of the touches, and Elijah Mitchell's not going to take any touches from him. So it's a matter of waiting and seeing. Now the other question is that so that's a positive thing about it, if there is a silver lining.
Right. Yeah. Oh, okay. Good. So and so got hurt. McCaffrey, my man. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go on. I know I shouldn't be acting like that. Aaron Rodgers, man. I heard reports about his thumb and a muscle strain. Give us more detail on that, please.
Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers, he had messed up or had injured his thumb and his throwing hand. About 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago. But he's still been playing type of thing. Now the finger that he had or the thumb he had, it was called an avulsion fraction. Avulsion fraction is where the ligament doesn't tear, but what it does, it pulls a little piece off the bone. If you guys remember, in 2009, the Lakers championship with Kobe Bryant, he had an avulsion fraction to his middle finger. So if you go back and you look at his finger kind of being taped, that's what he had the injury. You don't really do surgeries for that type unless the bone is really, really big type of thing to try to repair it. You just it's going to heal on its own type of thing. So that's what he has going on in that part. You just treat it, tape it, and play. Now, today's game, he left today's game, Sunday night game, with what you call a oblique muscle strain. Now, the oblique muscles are part of your six-pack or your abdominal muscles type of thing, but they're the ones on the side. So they're the ones that kind of help more with rotation and kind of lateral movement type of thing, which is kind of interesting because as a quarterback, that's all you tend to do, a lot of rotation when you throw the ball type of thing. So it's just a matter of waiting and seeing how bad the strain is and how much is going to affect them from here on out.
Oh, man, we want to see, man, but I don't care about the Packers. So. And he ain't on my team, so yeah, that's how it goes. Hey, you know what? We're going to come back after get into the injury updates or after these commercials.
Hi, I'm Renee Starms of the Starms Agency. Do you know why 97% of startups fail? It's because they don't have the proper exposure. So for the first time ever, Infinity Studios and the Starms Agency have come together to provide you with the Little Guys Big Marketing Package. Now, this is for local Los Angeles businesses who are ready to launch, relaunch, or simply expose their business to grow. With this package, you're going to receive 6 months of online and offline marketing tactics in a customized plan for your business. You're also going to get a professional TV quality commercial filmed in an 1,800 square foot studio with multiple screening options. So if you're ready to grow, go ahead and click that link. We also have financing available. I'm looking forward to chat with you. Click the link and let's go.
And we're back. Let's get into these updates, man. We're gonna start off with Jamar Chase with his hip.
Yeah, so Jameer Chase, wide receiver with the Cincinnati Bengals. Remember, he had left. He was out for a couple of weeks with what they refer to as hip injury or hip issues. They never really specified what it was. Now, he returned to practice this past week. He was limited practice. I think he was even a game time decision as far as playing for this weekend's game. No one really expected him to play, but that's what they posted it as. Um, so it's just a matter of waiting, see what he does this upcoming week. If he participates, has 3 good practices with the team with no restrictions, no limitations, there's a very good chance he can return as early as week 13, if not possibly to week 14. So if you're already in the playoffs, or you're sitting pretty so right now, you want to hold on to him, and he can probably return for the fantasy football playoffs and help you to kind of get through through the playoffs of the championship game.
Man, I hate that because that's one of those things where you need them in the playoffs, and then you hold them on the bench, and then that you need them to get to the finals. So are you gonna be able to make it to the finals without them? That's kind of tough. You don't have Jamar Chase, on your league, Pat?
No, I don't have Jamar Chase.
Okay.
I'm actually glad I didn't get him. They were trying to make me 6 round. I mean 6 pick. And like a lot of those what we call those projections, or at least the first mock drafts were saying that we had to get Chase around 7th or 8th pick in the draft, and that was a lot of high capital for somebody that's not going to be able to play every week. And like you said before, the playoffs is coming up in about 3 weeks. The playoffs are going to be coming up, and so you want to make sure that you have him, at least if he doesn't play the first round, at least make it to the second round.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go over to Jerry Jeudy. Over there at the Broncos.
Yeah. So Jerry Jeudy, wide receiver with the Denver Broncos, also left. I think it was week 10 or week 10 with an ankle sprain. So he's been out for about 1 or 2 weeks, type of thing. Now he did return to practice this past week, and he was limited, type of thing. But they did rule him out early enough. I think by Thursday for week 12 for Sunday's game. He's expected to return for week 13. And trust me, the Denver Broncos need all the help they can because all they have is Cortland Sutton. Hamlers are also out at the same time. And Russell Wilson is not the old Russell Wilson that everybody thought he was going to be with the Denver Broncos. So I'm sure John Elway is either trying to figure it out himself.
Well, I know he's happy his money's guaranteed. That's all I'm saying with that.
Correct.
Raheem Mohart over in with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, so Raheem Mostert, running back with the Miami Dolphins, he's actually been doing great this past season. He kind of took over as a workhorse until Jeff Wilson Jr. got traded from the San Francisco 49ers, and they kind of did a little bit of a share. Now, Raheem was kind of ruled out this past weekend with knee issues. Now, keep in mind, they mentioned, Raheem Mostert has had a history of knee issue type of thing. They didn't really specify what it was. They didn't specify as an injury, it's just an issue. So it could have been just either some tendonitis, could have been some arthritis. It could just be something that he's kind of dealing with that he has down there as far as wear and tear in the knee. So keep an eye on him as far as what he does for this upcoming week. Now like I said, he didn't play this weekend, and we'll see how he does.
All right, let's talk about Justin Fields because I know he hurt his shoulder. I was watching that, but it's not his throwing shoulder, right? It's his other one.
Correct. So Justin Fields, quarterback with the Chicago Bears, he dislocated his non-throwing shoulder arm, like you mentioned, that's a huge positive thing to some effect, basically. So he can still kind of play, still be able to throw with the other side. Now, on the other end, the Chicago Bears again lost. I believe they lost this past weekend. I don't think they're in the playoff hunt type of thing. He's their franchise quarterback. Are they going to try to rush him back? That becomes the issue type of thing. Now, he had 4 weeks, great scoring points in a row. I think he was up in the 30s, 40s. So if you had him, I know I had him, and he kind of scored a bunch of points for me type of thing. Now, reports are saying that he's expected to come back in week 13. Well, it's just a matter of waiting and seeing if he actually does play or not, or they're going to be conservative and kind of protect him, keep him safe, and save him for next year. So we'll see what happens.
One thing I noticed hold on real quick, about Justin Fields, because I want to go ahead and examine that a little bit more, because the reason I'm thinking that Justin Fields started becoming like fantasy viable is when they really changed his whole style up and went for him to be more of a runner than it was more of a passer. And honestly, well, I mean, if I'm really being honest when it comes to his injury, in particular his shoulder, he's not sliding. He's running like a running back. He's out there. He's putting his dipping. He's not dipping, but he's not sliding. And he was susceptible to any kind of injury. If he does come back, viable is he going to be really as a fantasy football quarterback if you take the running element out of him and just make him a pocket passer? And that's
Correct.
what you have to evaluate if you
Yep.
do play him in the playoffs.
Correct, 100%. And Pat said it's 100% right on the park. If he does return, like you mentioned, the odds of him running or the odds of the offense changing the plays to make sure that he doesn't run, he becomes a pocket passer, and they may do that, try to protect him. Now, like you mentioned, Pat, that majority of points come from rushing. I think he last time he rushed for like 172 yards, which is like most by a quarterback type of thing. If you eliminate that, you don't get all those points. Now he just becomes a regular passer, pocket passer. Now, is he going to be a great quarterback at that point? I don't think so, and I agree with you.
Yeah. So basically, Cliff Notes version, stay away from him as your quarterback if you're trying to win a championship, especially in Monday.
Just be cautious.
Yep.
Right. All right. Stay away from him. Hey, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he has an injury to his ankle.
Yeah.
Another
So
ankle.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, suffered an ankle sprain. I think 2 weeks ago or a week ago, he was placed in IR. But at this point, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is kind of irrelevant with the Kansas City Chiefs now that Isaiah Pacheco has kind of taken over as far as the number one spot. Even if he does come back, I don't think he's a viable fantasy football player. I don't think you should put him on your lineup. I don't think anybody should even have him on their bench, because I think between Pacheco and McKinnon, I think Clyde has dropped to the third or fourth spot.
All right. Hey, sorry, Mason never got hurt. Hey, Joe Mixon. He has a concussion, so that's the good thing is he ain't got nothing physically wrong with him. He just kind of remember his plays, right?
Correct. As long as he remembers who he is, remembers his place, and remembers which way he's going, that's all that matters, type of thing. So Joe Mixon, running back with the Cincinnati Bengals, suffered a concussion last week. He left the game, did not play this weekend. Samaje Perine kind of took over as a running back, and he did great this past weekend. And that's one of the downsides of when your backup does great. Now the team may hold you out, or maybe a little concerned to say, you know what, let's save you for the playoffs, the NFL season playoffs, and let's take our time, type of thing. So it's just a matter of waiting and seeing if he does participate in practice and any type of limited practice. He didn't practice at all this past week, so even if he returns to the field limited, it's a positive sign for him for this upcoming week.
All right. Well, hey, Matthew Stafford, he has a concussion too.
Correct,
Yeah,
and
it's over.
Exactly. So you know what? At this point, any LA Rams player, it's not even worth putting on your lineup. And there's not a single rep. So Matthew Stafford sustained a concussion last week. They ruled him out for this week. Now some of the reports are talking about that he may be out for the rest of the year. Again, I think they're going to just treating it conservatively. They're out of the playoff hunt, type of thing. There's no need for him to come back. He doesn't have his number one receiver, doesn't have his number two receiver. They got rid of Darrell Henderson. They don't have a running game whatsoever. So at this point, it's like, hey, you know what? Why even put him out there? So I think they're just kind of being conservative and just going to keep him out so that he's expected to be out for the rest of the year.
All right, let's go over to Rondell Moore. He has a hamstring strain. I think it's a grade 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so Rondell Moore sustained a hamstring strain last week. He left early in the game. I think it was a Monday Night Football game. He got one pass, -6 yards. And I know that because I had him on my lineup, and I needed him to get a couple of yards. Not only did I not get any positive yards, I got -0.6 points out of it.
Yikes.
And then he was out for the rest of the game. So he didn't do anything for me. He did less than nothing for me. But the positive news is they're in the bye week this upcoming week, so hopefully it gives it some time to heal. On the downside, you still have Hopkins in there, and then I think Marquise Brown came back this past week, so now you got a little bit of a crowded wide receiver lineup for the Arizona Cardinals. So we'll see how that pans out.
All right, let's get into Chase Edmonds real quick. He has his ankle. Did he walk out with a boot? Did you know?
Yes, Chase Edmonds sustained the injury last week. They put him on IR, so he's going to be out for at least 3 more weeks, type of thing. I think on our last week's show, we had highly recommended for you guys to pick up Latavius Murray as one of the waiver wire pickups. I think that Monday after our show, I think the Denver Broncos probably listening to us because on that Monday they waived Melvin Gordon because he fumbled. So if you were smart enough to pick up Latavius Murray, now you have a workhorse because this past weekend on today's games, He got all the touches with the exception, I think, of 2 or 3. Granted, I think he rushed for like 92 yards, 98. He didn't get you a touchdown. But if you picked him up, you got a workhorse now.
Kadarius Toney, wide receiver for the Chiefs.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney, wide receiver with the Kansas City Chiefs, same thing. They're having issues with a lot of the receivers. He has a hamstring injury. He didn't play in today's game, so it's just a matter of waiting and seeing how he does. Kadarius Toney, I think Hardman also has been out on IR as well.
Yeah, well, and Mike Williams, man, he shouldn't be on nobody's roster anymore because that dude ain't played all year, right?
So Mike Williams suffered a high ankle sprain, and usually high ankle sprains take anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. Now, he came back in 2 weeks, and he played last weekend's game, and he tweaked it right away type of thing. So that tells me that his ankle wasn't 100% or anywhere near 100% type of thing for him to come back. So now he either I wouldn't be surprised if he had a setback or retweaked it, obviously. So the question is, does the clock begin from 4 weeks from last week, and we got to start that all over, or was it just a matter of seeing how he does? At this point, they're going to probably be conservative and kind of just keep him on until he's 100% ready. Kind of same thing what happened with Keenan Allen. He had the hamstring, came back, had a setback, and then he was out for like another 6 weeks type of thing.
Yeah, I had Keenan Allen. He had to get from the kids. I watched that game. I wanted him to throw every touchdown he can to Keenan Allen, but that didn't happen. But he gave me a decent amount of points today.
Yeah, Keenan Allen did well today. Keenan Allen did well today.
Yeah. He gave me. I think I got 16 points with him, so I was happy with that. Yeah. So hey, so you know what? This is probably the most important part of my show. After we get over the injuries, we got to do the sleepers. You have any sleepers with you right now? Maybe wire pickups.
For me, I got three. I got 3 specific spots. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna give you a quarterback, a running back, and receiver. With the running back, I'm probably gonna go with is Jermichael Hasty, running back with the Jacksonville Jaguars. If ATN is out for the rest of the season or for long periods of time, Jermichael became the workhorse. He came right in and kind of took over. He did well. I think he got a touch on top of thing. He is rostered, I believe, in less than 1% of the leagues. I think in ESPN in 0.8% of the leagues. So he'll be a great pickup. If you're looking for a quarterback, surprisingly, the new quarterback for the New York Jets, Mike White, did well, threw for 3 touchdowns in today's game. I think if you had him, he gave you about 23, 24 points. He'll be a great pickup. He's only rostered in 2.5% of ESPN leagues. Now, receiver, even though he's kind of already rostered in about 59% of leagues, he may become the number 1 spot is Chase Claypool. He hasn't done well, but now with Darnell Mooney out with the Chicago Bears, Chase Claypool may have to kind of take a more important role and get more of those receptions.
Yeah, I was looking at a sleeper that ain't played all year, and he's not injured, but he's coming off a suspension.
Actually, I forgot. You're right. That's actually a better quarterback. Totally forgot about him. You're 100% right. I'll take him over Mike White. Right. Although Mike White did great though, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I know. Hey, well, so what do you think, Stat Pat? Are we gonna put Deshaun Watson in the game starting? He's in about 70% of roster, so a lot of people didn't, because he wasn't playing all year, nobody picked him up. So
yeah, I would say you can go ahead and pick him up. It's just like you just gotta live with the fact that it's just gonna get a little messy. You just got him on your team, so you just got to go ahead. It's kind of like that year you had Kareem Hunt. You had Kareem Hunt on the team. I mean, he was balling, too. When he went over to Cleveland the first time he was balling, I was like, man, I'm getting these points, but, I don't know if I feel too good about this. But, time heals all wounds, as you can see. We don't even talk about it with the Kareem Hunt. So it's what it is. Yeah, I would say that he's going to be, if he's not scooped up now, he's going to be scooped. And to be honest with you, Cleveland's not that bad though. It's like they need somebody that's pretty good like that can give them the extra because Jacoby Brissett is limited. He's been where he is since he's got in the league. So now you have somebody that has a little bit of that little dynamic. Maybe and Chubb is doing Chubb things. So I don't know if they can just buy a new pair of hands. If they can find Amari Cooper a new pair of hands. They should be okay, but I don't know. Deshaun Watson is going to be a very, very interesting. See who many people pick him up, and like you said, it is fantasy though. It's fantasy.
Yeah. Look, we have a few more minutes left on this show, man. But I'm gonna tell you, I was kind of watching part of that game today, and they were talking about Brissett, like he wasn't out there. Like this dude literally, they was talking about where's he gonna play. That like, I'm like, dang, is he that bad? Where he's not even gonna be a backup for Deshaun? They was like, they just kept on talking about Deshaun Watson coming back and Brissett was gonna get cut. But that's how they was making it sound. I thought that was unfair for Brissett. What do you think, Zach?
You know how football is, dude. It's like, not for long.
Not for
So
long.
you're out there one day, the next day you're not, and especially, you gotta they gave up too
But
much draft
that's
capital to not to play Deshaun Watson immediately.
no,
And
I'm not saying not play him. I'm just saying, can he still be the second string? Can he still be the backup? I mean, they talking about him like he a kicker to miss 5 field goals, and we need to get another kicker. Like he's going to be off the team.
He literally has kept him afloat. So it's kind of like it's kind of cold world out there, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
But
so piece of work. Well, hey, thanks a lot, Marco, for all the updates. Hey, everybody out there, thank you for tuning in. Follow us on the Waiver Wire Pod on Twitter and Instagram for the updates throughout the week. And we'll catch up with you next week. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys.